Om. 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 Sairam, everyone. Based on what I was able to listen from the YouTube recording, last week I think the shloka Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paripasate Tesham Nityabhyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vahamiham was discussed, and I think Swami is continuing to explain that shloka, which he has called the Nabhi or the navel of Bhagavad Gita itself. I was listening to the discussion, and I think Sai Satish was mentioning, is there a mention of Hridaya? I think that was what Sai Satish asked. I couldn't but remember Kriti by Tyagaraja, Nabhi Hrid Kanta Rasana. Sound itself forms in the Nabhi, and then it takes a certain shape as thought in the Hridaya, and then it takes a form as a sound in the throat, and it comes out in the tongue as a word. So all the Vedas actually originate from the Nabhi. Nabhi is not only, it symbolizes all creation, including the creation of sound itself and the Vedas also. So I think in that sense, this seems to be the seed from which the entire Bhagavad Gita has become a tree, and with 700 shlokas for all of us to study. So Swami is going to that core from which that bijam or seed from which everything originated, and Swami is spending a lot of time explaining to us what this shloka is. So I think we'll continue from where we left off. Sairam sisters, Sri Sairam.
When the messenger took this message to the palace, the Maharaja proceeded to the dwelling of the Pandit on foot. He fell at the feet of the Pandit, saying, I thank you sincerely for explaining to me this day, out of your own experience, the meaning of the shloka which you expounded yesterday. Thus, the king taught the Pandit that any propagation of spiritual matters which does not come out of the crucible of experience is mere glitter and show. Even today, many learned men who go about discoursing on the Gita and doing propaganda for it do not observe its principles and practice. They are engaged in simply expounding to the world the valueless rind, the textual meaning, the sense of the words, and nothing more. Trying to spread the Gita without actually practicing it is tantamount to ruining the cause and insulting the sacred book. They extol the Gita as the very breath of their life, the crown of all scriptures, and as having emanated from the lips of the Lord himself. They show so much reverence for the book that their eyes overflow with tears at the very mention of its name. They place it on their heads. They press it on their eyes. They keep it in their shrines and offer puja to it with great bursts of demonstrative devotion. All the respect, all the worship is only for the paper, the book. If indeed they have reverence for the words of the Lord, the contents of the book, they would have striven to put them into practice, is it not? No, they do not strive. They have no iota of experience. If they have the experience, none of them would barter the spread of that experience for money. They would yearn only for grace.
Thank you very much, sister. So I will. Yes, I think there were lots of discussion about about that Pandit who explained to the king, and the king did not understand last week. So I don't know whether there's anything else which I should add to the discussion. But I was reminded of the story of in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, when a mother came and asked Sri Ramakrishna to tell his son not to eat too much sugar, sweet. Ramakrishna said, come after 2 weeks, I will say. And after 2 weeks, he told the child, it's not very good to eat too much sweet. We should not eat. So the mother was perplexed. Why, oh Lord, you could have told this that day itself. Why 2 weeks? And for which Sri Ramakrishna said, look here, I myself was not practicing. So first I had to practice and then I had to speak. What he drove home was that if a person is trying to teach something, if they are not practicing it, if they are not experientially understood the meaning and the benefit, their words will not have the effect, and the person who listens may not even understand what is being said. So there is much more to communication than just mere words. It has to come from an inner core of our being for it to have any effect on the people who are listening. And I think that's what Swami is talking here also. Whoever is extolling, they should practice, or they should strive to practice. Without that, their words will not have any impact. People will not even understand what they're talking about. When they themselves have not really understood at the core level of their existence. And so I thought I would just mention that. But I will open it up for others to share their thoughts, please. Saira.
Saramana.
Saira.
Saramana, thank you for that Nabi and Hridaya. If you can repeat that, and I just missed that part when you said it originates in the Nabi and that whole sequence. If you can just tell it once again.
I think Auntie should sing this Kriti. I think it's called Saptaswara Shobillu. That is the Kriti in which Tyagaraja nicely explains how sound itself originates. Yeah. It starts in the Nabhi. Nabhi is not the navel which we see, it's the Nabhi chakra. Okay, that is where the stirring of the vibration starts. And that takes form in the heart. Nabhi, Hrid. Hrid actually attaches thought, intention. All that is attached in the Hridaya. That's the Anahata chakra. From there, it rises up to the Kantha, which is Vishuddhi. So in the throat, it takes form as sound. Sound itself comes into being in the throat. Nabhi, Hrid, Kantha. And from there, Rasana, in the tongue, the words are formed. So this is the evolution of sound from that unmanifest state from the Nabhi into something which is present. So the entire Vedas are supposedly come like that in the same process. The sound originates. It's a human being. We are showing that as locations which we can identify. But even in the cosmos, the Nabhi of the Lord, from there only everything originates. That's why Brahma himself comes from the Nabhi Kamala of Vishnu. So all creation, that symbolizes that. So the creative principle is symbolized by Nabhi. But the thing is, it takes a shape, then Chitta, you can call it Chitta Kasha, you understand? It basically takes form where, the feelings, intentions, thoughts, all that gets crystallized. And then that comes as Vak, speech and sound, So after all, Veda, the Gita is, but again, the Lord has spoken. Okay, that's also Veda, nothing but Veda or Upanishad Saram. So that also has originated from the seed. So I think Swami is talking of this shloka as the seed from which this entire tree of branches and leaves of the 700 shlokas have formed, which is nothing but coming from this seed or this bijam, which is embedded in the Nabhi. And so it's an expansion of the same shloka, is the way I understood. So I thought, I hope I was clear enough.
Thanks, Anna.
Sairam Sakwanti. Auntie, you may have to unmute and speak. So it's only at the heart level now.
Yeah, now the chakra, this Nabhi chakra is
Yes.
attached to the heart, right?
Nabhi is Manipuraka, you can call it. You know, it is the Nabhi is the navel.
Yeah,
There's a chakra in the navel. Okay. And Anahata is the Hridaya chakra, which is somewhere. Anahata.
Anahata.
That's also unstruck. Means the sound is still not struck. But when it becomes struck, it gets struck in the throat,
Yeah,
which is Khanta. And from the sound, vocal cords, you can say, you know, they start vibrating. And then sound comes as words through the tongue and the mouth.
yeah.
Rasana. The position of the tongue determines the formation of words and letters.
Thank you. So clear. Thank you.
You should thank Tyagaraja.
No, for bringing to us.
Yes, Sairam.
Yeah, it's very apt, clear explanation of how the sound is produced. Swami mentions about the Nabi. So you have brought it out very well. Nabi, Hrit, Kanta, Rasana. Nasadulayanto.
Yes.
Chobillu Saptaswara.
Yes.
Uncle, do these correspond to, I think one time in the Sanskrit class you were talking about the four.
Shabdakuramayi, Sayacharamayi, Jyotirmayi, Vangmayi. Yes.
Okay, and actually I was thinking of something else. I think it
Okay,
was
sorry.
4 types of,
Yes, Para, Pashyanti.
yes, yeah.
Yes.
Is that,
Vaikari, yes.
Vaikari,
Madhyama Vaikari.
Madhyama Vaikari, Para Prashyanti.
and sorry, you said, what is the anahata?
Anahata means unstruck,
Hmm.
which is, you know, there's sound in it unstruck form. That means it is a potential sound.
Okay.
Okay. Anahata is the fourth, an Om also, that's also called Anahata Dhvani, you know, so which is the Turiya Avastha, you know, it corresponds to.
Ahata, Anahata. Ahata means when you strike two things together, the sound is produced. Anahata means without striking two things, the sound is always eternal, it is heard. That's Anahata Shabda. Like Omkara in the universe, it's going on.
Anna, in that context, is it the Manipuraka or is it the Mooladhara?
No, Mula.
See, Abhi is in the naval area is Manipuraka.
Manipuraka.
Mooladhara, of course, it is Kundalini is fully resting. That's its basis, but sound itself starts from Manipuraka, from Nabhi. You can say Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, you know. Generally,
Yeah, because
anything below Manipuraka is considered in a raw form. You know, it is not refined. It's Prakriti.
okay, Anna. Yeah, because I think so it is still raw form. So when it comes to Manipuraka, it gets more refined. So that's where you have like, I think, like the Brahma Granthi kind of a thing. So there, I think it evolves and then, yeah, thank you.
Puraka. So, okay.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Could we do the Telugu for this slide?
Okay. ఇంటికి వచ్చి పండితునికి నమస్కారం. So he comes, the Raja comes to his home, you know. Swami నిన్నటి శ్లోకమునకు అర్థము నేడు మీరు అనుభవ రూపమున తెలిసినందులకు నా హృదయపూర్వక నమస్కారములు. Raja is telling the Pandit. Yeah. Arun, please go ahead with the translation.
Okay, Auntie. Sorry, I was not paying attention. Sorry. Please go ahead. Can you reread and which chapter are we on? 19?
Yeah, we have done it the same. Chapter, previous chapter. That is
18.
18, not 19. 18.
Okay.
Last few paragraphs.
Okay, please read, Auntie.
రాజు ఆనందించి తానే పండితుని ఇంటికి వచ్చి పండితునకు నమస్కరించి స్వామి నిన్నటి శ్లోక
So the king himself was so joyful. He came to the residence of the Pandita, the scholar, and
he said, స్వామి నిన్నటి శ్లోకమునకు అర్థము నేడు మీరు అనుభవ రూపమున తెలిపినందులకు నా హృదయపూర్వక నమస్కారములు.
He thanked him for explaining to him through in an experiential manner the shloka which the previous day he had started explaining. He thanked him profusely for that.
అని తెలిపి అనుభవ రూపమున లేని ప్రచారము ఆడంబర విశ్వాసమే గాని అది అసలు స్వరూపము కాదు అని సత్యమును వెల్లడి చేసెను.
He said any meaning which is not experientially realized, when stated, it can only amount to an external pomp and show. And he said this is the most useful.
అసలు స్వరూపము కాదు. It is not
the real form. It's not its real form.
చూచితిరా నేడును గీతా ప్రచారము చేయు అనేక మంది మహనీయులు నిరర్థకమైన అర్థములను లోకమునకు అందించుచున్నారు.
So today there are many people giving all kinds of meanings and explaining Geetha in a
నిరర్థకమైన
without meaningless
అర్థం.
Commentaries are being given by the various pracharakas, people who are doing pravachanam of Geetha.
కానీ అనుభవ రూపమున ఆ గీతను ఆచరించుట లేదు.
But they are not practicing in an experiential manner the meanings contained in these verses.
ఆచరణలో లేని అర్థము ప్రచారము వలన గీతకు అపచారము చేసినట్లుగును.
So without practicing and understanding the meaning experientially, explaining the meaning of Geetha is tantamount to disrespecting or discrediting Geetha itself.
గీతపై విశ్వాసం ఉన్నట్లు గీతనే వారి ప్రాణమనియు గీతకు మించిన మహాగ్రంథరాజము వేరులదనియు.
There is nothing greater than Geetha, that is it's as equal to one's life itself.
And గీతపై విశ్వాసం ఉన్నట్లు,
having total faith in the Geetha itself.
ఇది భగవత్ ముఖము నుండి వచ్చినదనియు భక్తి శ్రద్ధలు చూపుచు ఆనంద బాష్పములు రాల్చుచు శరీరములపై ఉంచుకొనుచు కన్నులకు అద్దుకొనుచు పూజాపీఠములంది పూజించుచు చాలా ఆర్భటంగా గౌరవింతురు.
They say it has come from the mouth of the Lord himself, and they put it on top of their head. They hold it close to the eyes, and they perform lots of pujas, keeping it in altar, and that kind of a drama they perform.
ఆ గౌరవ మర్యాదలు కేవలము కాగితములకు.
Such type of experience, expositions or that kind of behavior is tantamount to just paper. It is as valuable as just the paper.
గ్రంథమునకు అంతే.
Even the text is that much.
నిజముగా గ్రంథమునకే అంత గౌరవం ఇచ్చుచుండిన లోని విషయములకు ఆచరణలో మరి ఎంతటికి స్థానం ఇవ్వవలెను.
If they are giving so much of respect, how much of importance should they give for it in their own practice?
ఓహో, ఏ మాత్రము అనుభవం లేదు.
Oh, That there's absolutely no experience.
అనుభవమే ఉండిన ధనము కొరకు వీరి ప్రచారమును అమ్ముకొనురు.
If they have that experience, they will not be selling it for money.
భగవంతుని దయ కొరకు ప్రాకులాడి ఉండేడి వారు.
They will be totally depend on, and they will strive to receive the mercy of the Lord himself.
నేటి గీతా ప్రచారకుల్లో కోటికి ఒక్కరు కూడా భగవద్రానుగ్రహమునకు ప్రాకులాడు వారు లేరు.
Today, even one among 1 crore or 10 million people are those who strive to seek yearn for the help of the Lord,
For the grace of
for the grace of the Lord.
ఉండిన వారిట్లు ధనమునకు స్థానం ఇవ్వరు.
If they are so, they will not give any room for money, any space for money.
ఓవర్.
Saira.
సరే. Swami is giving so much importance to the experiential knowledge about spiritual matters.
Yes,
That is the real way of understanding any spiritual text. Saira.
Saira.
Just that line where it says Acharanalo Leni Arthamu.
The
ఆచరణలో
result which is not based on experience or practice.
Sorry, what is not based on practice?
Pardon? The fruits. Palita means the results, not based on practice.
Oh, okay. And can you read that whole sentence again?
which one? ఆచరణలో లేని అర్థము. You know that sentence you want?
Yes, that one.
ఆచరణలో లేని అర్థము.
Meaning which is not dependent on practice.
ప్రాక్టీస్. ప్రచారము వలన గీతకు అపచారం చేసిన విట్లగుణం.
So when somebody does exposition of Geetha, then they cause disrespect to Geetha itself.
భగవద్గీత.
Apacharam can be disrespect is okay.
Yeah. Disrespect, అపచారం, correct. Can you say an insult?
Insult, you can say insult also.
Insult.
In the English, it was saying trying to spread the Gita without actually practicing it is tantamount to ruining the cause and insulting the sacred book. I'm just
Yes.
wondering about ruining the cause. What?
Not there in Telugu. Ruining the cause is not there. Just is disrespect. Disrespect and insult.
Just to clarify, here it seems very black and white that, you should not at all ask for any money, like in terms of doing spiritual activities. But I think like we discussed the other day, like for people who this is their sole, occupation, there's some balance, I guess, right? Like in terms of
Occupation should not depend on money. I see in the spiritual path, the devotee should just depend on whatever comes his way. They will not strive. if nothing comes also, it's okay. That should be the attitude of a devotee. See, that is not for the person of a worldly minded people. That will not suit somebody. But if someone takes up spirituality, and if they're dabbling in spiritual texts, then they should evince total faith in the Lord. This is one reason Swami tells us to be wary of anyone who charges money in the name of spiritual teaching. You come for a course for this much rupees. That means they are devotees of the money and they are dependent on money and not God, not spirituality itself. I think that's the way Swami has explained. So the thing is, they have to just do what they have to do, and whatever comes their way, they should accept. If nothing comes also, they should say that's God's will. That should be the attitude. That is total surrender. So that's what Swami says. Because if they are not doing that, they are not doing justice to the spiritual text which they are trying to do exposition on or teach. Because then if they do not have the faith, the listeners will also not have the faith. This is what Swami is saying. So you can ask, the thing is, we think with money we can live. With money we can buy food. But the devotee will say, with my God's grace, I will get food. God's grace will give me everything. Whatever I need, not what I want. So I think people like Tyagaraja, as I think Auntie last week also mentioned, most of these great devotees lived in poverty. But without, as Sai Satish said, without poverty, they cannot spiritually advance. I think this is what Jesus also has told in the Bible. People who lack everything are the ones who get everything from the Lord. It's not too different.
I'm just asking because I mean, when you are interacting, like, on the other end, obviously, I'm not doing that, but if you are interacting or like you are needing services of someone, then like, is it bad to actually support that person or like give that person money?
We have to support. See, that person should not dance, but we should support.
Right.
That is our duty. So, they should not ask. That is their duty. Our duty is to support. We have to support. Because if we do not support, then we are not doing our part in the process. Okay. This is, what is it called, honor system. In an honor system, he keeps up his side of the bargain, in the universal setting. And we should do our part, which is support them to the best of our ability. That's a Guru Dakshina, all that is, that's where all that comes in. The Guru generally should not demand Dakshina.
Right.
And they will accept whatever the disciple gives.
So that if somebody is saying that they have like a fee or something like a basic, then
that's a problem.
That's okay.
That's a big problem.
Saira Maruna,
Saira Mati.
some of us, we think we are following Krishna's or Swami's teaching, but not truly to the right word. And they think, even if they are doing anything wrong, they say it's Baba's will.
The
So,
Baba's will, see, whoever says
everything on Swami's will, as Swami's will. Is that right?
It is for them to realize, Auntie.
They have not realized. Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted.
No, the thing is, if I say, for example, it is Swami's will only on a selective basis, then there's a problem. If a person who has come to that state of everything is Swami's will accept everything whichever happens as Swami's will. Okay.
Yeah.
We can't be picking and choosing and saying it is Swami's will.
Yeah. For his or hers purpose.
Convenient.
And for others, no, God's will. Yes, it's wrong. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Saira.
Sairam Sister Aruna.
Can you please explain the last sentence on the first paragraph, please? What is meant by the crucible of experience is a mere glitter? What is the one they are referring there? The Swami in the last paragraph is saying you are not supposed to share your experience for money, only yearn for grace. That's great. But this first paragraph says, does not come out of your crucible experience. It's mere glitter. What is that meant by? Thank you.
I think I will ask others to explain. Sai Satish, Auntie, please.
Sai Ramana. So, sister, you're asking about the crucible of experience, which does not come out of the crucible of experience, is mere glitter and show, right? That is the line you're asking.
Yes, that's the line. Yeah. Already
so,
Swami saying that experience you can share, not for money, only for yearning of his grace, right? That is ended with. But this one I didn't understand.
Yeah. So, continuing, like based on what we discussed last time also, sister. So it is more like the bookish knowledge versus practical knowledge. So when we say which does not come out of the crucible of experience, it is more that have I experienced it before telling it to somebody. So last time also we mentioned about walk the talk, because these days it is more about people talk about the walk, but they don't talk about their own walk. They talk about somebody else. So they say, do this, do that. But the first thing is, have I done it? Before I tell somebody else, have I experienced it as part of my core being? Because we also know, like Bhrigu, if you remember that whole thing with Bhrigu and his father Varuna, every time he goes for finding out what is the true source or what is Brahman, like we discussed that Annam Brahma, he says food is God, then Pranam Brahma, then Mano Brahma. So once he discovers Anandam Brahmeti Vijanat, that he is bliss, he doesn't come back, because he is so immersed in that bliss that there is nothing more needed to be spoken about. So that is where this story of Ananyas Chintayanto Mam also comes, because initially the Pandit is speaking about it because he has not experienced it. And once he has experienced it, it is like when the bee is sucking or sipping the honey, the honey bee is lost in sipping that honey from that flower. It doesn't chatter about the honey. It doesn't say, oh, honey is like this, honey is like that. So in this context also, when people talk about it, they have not made it part of their own experience, because when they make it part of their own experience, there is nothing like to be spoken about. They are always immersed in it. And we will know such great people out of their silence itself. Like Ramana Maharshi would just convey through his silence. There was nothing to be spoken about. Many people just went and sat in front of him and got their answers and walked away. So in that context, because they have made it part of themselves, it need not be spoken about. And that is where the true experience, inner experience comes. I hope I'm
here. The crucible experience is just a bookish knowledge, but the person is not experienced it, just talking about it. That's how you are looking at it, right?
Yes, sister.
Okay, then. Thank you.
In that line in Telugu, Auntie, could you just go through that again? I think it says Anni Telipi.
1 minute. That's what I was also wondering about the last. I think I better read the last paragraph nicely. Granthamurugan. Nijamuga Granthamunake anta Gauravam ichuchundina లోని విషయములకు ఆచరణలో మరి ఎంతటి స్థానం ఇవ్వవలెను. How much respect they should give for Bhagavad Gita if they are just worshipping the book only, but the real essence what it is teaching. How much respect we should give to them. ఏ మాత్రము అనుభవం లేదు. No experience at all on their part. అనుభవమే ఉండిన ధనము కొరకు వీరు ప్రచారమును అమ్ముకొనరు. If the అనుభవమే ఉండిన ధనం కొరకు వీరు ప్రచారమును అమ్ముకొనరు. అమ్ముకొనరు means that they are not selling their knowledge just for the sake of money. If they had real experience, they would not be. That's what Aruna is asking. If anubhavame undina dhanamu koraku veeru pracharamunu ammukonaru. Arun, can you just go through that? Arun? Sairam is not there?
I don't
I think we lost him, yeah.
They lost him?
He's not on the call right now, Auntie Mimi.
Okay. So, you know what Swami is saying here? Loni vishyamuలకు ఆచరణలో మరి ఎంతటి స్థానం ఇవ్వను. If they are worshipping the mere book, they are holding it with great reference, they are shedding tears of joy when they look at the book, and all those things are, Swami explains in the last paragraph. How much respect they should be giving if they have the real essence of the knowledge, which the real experience of that knowledge. ఏ మాత్రము అనుభవం లేదు. No experience at all. అనుభవమే ఉండిన ధనము కొరకు వీరు ప్రచారమును అమ్ముకొనరు. If they had really that experience, just for the sake of the money, they would not be selling their or giving their knowledge to others. Just for the sake of money. భగవంతుని దయ కొరకు ప్రాకులాడి ఉండేవారు. If they are really they are dependent on the experiential knowledge, they would be asking the grace of the Lord. Bhagavantuni daya koraku, grace of the Lord, they would have been doing that. Neti Geetha Pracharukallo kotiki okkaru kuda Bhagavad Anugrahamunaku prakulaaduvaru leru. They are not asking for the grace of the Lord. Even among koti means 1 crore people, among not even one of them is not asking for the grace of the Lord, but they are all asking for money. That's what Geetha Pracharakas are doing. Undina varitlu dhanamunaku sthanam ivaru. Even if they are there, some people who are real have knowledge, they would not be asking for money. Varitlu dhanamunaku sthanam ivaru. They won't give any room for such money. I think that.
And Auntie, the first paragraph, the last line of the first paragraph on the slide, after the Raja speaks.
Yeah.
Ani Talipi Anupam Rupam.
Okay. 1 minute. When the messenger took this message to the palace, అని తెలిపి నా హృదయపూర్వక నమస్కారములు. The king said to the Pandit, my heartfelt namaskars to you. And then he said, అనుభవ రూపమున లేని ప్రచారము ఆడంబర విశ్వాసమే. That without the experiential knowledge, whatever they say, it is just adambaram vishwasam, mere show, glitter and show. That is the adambaram, bahya adambara, outer exterior show, external show.
And Vishwasam, doesn't that mean faith?
Adambara vishwasame. They have the faith in the adambara.
Oh.
They have the faith in the
Okay.
yeah. Adambara vishwasame.
Adambara means pompous.
Pompous.
Show off.
Asalu swarupamu kaadu. It's not the real. Aruna, what is it?
Just having it and not practicing, and that's the show off kind of like
Show off.
people,
Show off. Adambara means show off.
And what was the last part? Kani?
The last sentence he says, Adambara vishwasame kani adi asalu swarupamu. Asalu swarupamu kadanu satyamunu వెల్లడి చేసేను. I have explained it. వెల్లడి చేసేను, I have brought it to the light. This is all Adambara Vishwasme Kani. It's only a mere show of glitter and pomp. Asalu Swarupa, the real Swarupa of the Bhagavad Gita's message. Asalu Swarupamu Kadanu Satyamunu. It's not the Asalu Swarupa, it's not the original Rupa of this Bhagavad Gita message. And he said this Satyamu Velladi Chesinu. So he brought out the real truth of what they are saying.
It's very clear that when you experience, the whole cells in your body will experience the Gita essence, and you need not use your words, your actions, and the way you conduct yourself will speak. Like how Ramana Maharishi spoke through his eyes, his sight. People go and sit in front of him. The mere look conveys all the knowledge and the wisdom to the people who are there.
Correct. Even our Swami sometimes used to convey what he felt through his eyes.
Yeah.
Those who really were close to him,
Yeah.
we could understand by the just look of Swami that what he is telling us, what he was conveying to us.
Auntie, do you have any kind of experience like that? Can you share it with us?
Oh,
I join Aruna.
Please,
I join Aruna.
yes. Okay.
You know, when it happened, it was a festival in Parthi, and Swami was supposed to give saris to the ladies who were sitting there. But, you know, he just looked at the volunteers, They could understand what he wanted. Immediately they went and brought the saris and then started distributing them. But, you know, he would convey that kind of message to us. And once when it happened, when I lost my husband, I went for the first time to Parthi. That is in 1989. And I had taken a letter from some other devotee who had given to me, please give it to Swami. So I was holding it, and then Swami took the letter from me, and then he said, Bangaru, Bangaru. And that was not somebody's letter, but what they had written, I don't know. He took that letter and he said, Bangaru, Bangaru. And then, you know, he went and then almost stood near that pillar. Then this, what is it? That hall, which is Kulwant Hall, it was not there. Only the front pillars were there. From there, you know, he gave a look. Even now, I remember that look. It was just a look at me from a distance. From a distance, you know, that after I was in pain, of course. But that look, even now, I remember, and it gave me a lot of peace to me. That's why.
Thank you so much. It's amazing. Amazing. Oh my
From
God.
a distance, you know, he is looking at me from a distance. I looked at him.
Yeah.
My eyes and his eyes, you know, he could convey what he wanted to say to me. And then I understood what he wanted.
Okay, good. Thank you for sharing. It's amazing. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
That is called Netra Darshanam, right?
Yeah, Netra Darshanam. But Netra Darshanam, Sakuji, Swami's, when eyes are open, that is Netra Darshanam.
Yeah.
And whether he sees us or not that doesn't matter. But we are looking at his netram.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, okay.
It should be mutual, you know. And it is very rare. When he
Yeah,
looks
very
at
rare to
very-
get the
very rare. You
yeah.
are looking somewhere and Swami is looking somewhere and Swami looks at you. Maybe you are not aware of it also. You know, that kind of mutual looking at each other.
Connection.
It is very rare.
Yeah, very, yeah.
I had that experience. Even now, if I just go back to those days, I remember how Swami looked at me.
It's very nice. Oh my God, you brought the Swami in front of us.
Sairam Auntie, Sairam
Thank
Mami,
you.
Sairam Anna. This
Yeah,
is Kama. It same thing happened to me when I was, sitting, and then 2010, and he turned and looked at me and gave a beautiful smile, and he met eyes to eye, like he's always with us, with every one of us. But he's looking, that Netra Darshanam you were saying now, it happened to me and it was so, so peaceful. And it's amazing, amazing. Everything, you don't have a mind that time, only eyes to eye.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, very nice, Aunt
It's
Mommy.
very nice. Thank you for sharing. Oh, very nice. It's, it's connect. When you're saying also, we also can connect, right? To Swami, well, you can imagine yourself and,
We
it's
are
very
bringing
nice.
that picturization to you.
Yes, picturization. Yeah, very nice.
This is really Samarpanam, right? Where you remember, you relive, and you share it with us. We visualize it and we experience it. Isn't it wonderful?
This is experiential knowledge, which
Yeah.
Swami is saying.
Yeah.
Experiential knowledge.
Experience and knowledge for His grace, not for money.
No, yeah, for his grace.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, true, true.
Yeah, brother Arno is not there.
Aruna is not there. I think he has gone somewhere.
No, it won't go like that. I don't know what happened to his internet.
Yeah, Sairam, Anna had another commitment, so I think that's why he's dropped off. We can continue with
the 19th chapter. Kalyani? Oh, yeah.
Chapter 19. Speakers who are out to spread the Gita have multiplied nowadays, and as a consequence, a variety of interpretations, most of them far removed from the genuine one, have emanated, clouding the true significance. Interpretations follow the nature and character of the exponent. Once an opinion is formed, he tries to buttress it with appropriate arguments and prove all others wrong. It is then repeated parrot-like on every occasion. No attempt is made to practice the Gita and make it part of one's actual life. Such persons pretend to be great Gita pracharaks, exponents or speakers of Gita, and go about heavy with the burden of credentials and titles. They ruin themselves by this deception and undermine the trust placed on the Gita. The words of God are, each one, for translation into actual life, not for scattering into the ears of men to reap fame. But the times have gone so awry that they are today misused for acquiring publicity and praise. Those who listen to the expositions of these pracharaks are also neglecting to question the bona fides. They do not care to examine whether the persons who extol the Gita to the skies have tasted the sweetness of its teachings. Words and deeds are far apart. They exhort others, but those who are exhorted find that the teachers do not themselves follow the lesson. No, not even one in a million. There are some who boast that they have the entire Gita on the tip of the tongue, that they can roll out on the spot any shloka from the Gita, which you want to hear, if only the chapter and number are given. Or they can quote chapter and number for any phrase or word you give. I am inclined to laugh when such scholarship is exhibited. Poor tongue, that it should carry so much on its tip, without any of it being absorbed in actual life. A gramophone record can repeat as well as they, and with equal benefit to itself. Practicing one verse certainly yields more benefit than learning all the verses by rote and retaining them in memory. Arjuna proved every word of Krishna true by practicing it. His sincerity won him the grace of Krishna.
Yeah.
I don't know if you, maybe if you read the Telugu, could we just go through the English lines and see if they're accurate?
Okay. Chapter 19. Nedu Lokamuna Geetha Pracharukulu Adhikamai. Nowadays the speakers are in their numbers have increased. Paramatmani Pavitra Padamulaku Anarthamu Kalpinchi. They are giving meaningless words to the Pavitra Geetha. Paramatmani Pavitra Geetha Padamulaku. For the words spoken by Bhagawan, they are interpreting unnecessary meanings. Satyarthamunu Marugu Paruchuchunnaru. They are hiding the real truth. Okay? Aya Pracharukulu Pravartanaలను అనుసరించి సమర్థించుకొనుచు ఎవరికి తోచినట్లు వారు చిలుకు పలుకులు పలుకుచున్నారే కానీ so those pracharikas they according to their own convenience they are proving that Bhagavan's words are they mean only this much, this thing. They are thinking everiki tochinatlu, whatever he thinks, he is giving that chiluku palukula palukuchunnaru, just like a parrot, the parrot which blabbers. So also they are doing the same thing. Kani, but Acharanayandu anumatramaina praveshimpaka, not even an atom size of experience they are not doing. They are not doing it into practice. Goppa Geetha Pracharukulanu Birudulanu. They are these Geetha Pracharakas, those who read Geetha, what is it called? They are exponents of Geetha. Birudulanu Talabharamuga Moichunnaru. They have lots of titles. They are carrying it as a burden on their head. Itlu variki varu keedu chesukonote kaka. They are harming themselves. They are harming themselves by such interpretations. Lokamanuku kuda avishwasamanu kaliginchuncharu. Not only they are harming themselves, but they are creating misunderstanding among people. Paramatmani palukulu prati okkatini acharana rupamainave kani. What Bhagavan is giving in each word has some kind of message for us to practice. Acharana rupam. Kevalama prachara rupamainava kanu. It's not meant for only spreading or giving meaning for them. Nedu Kali Mahatyamo annatlu. Because of the Kali age's influence, Daniki Viruddhamaina Margamano Lokamanuku Rudduchunnaru. They are giving opposite messages to the whole humanity. Poni Vinu Vinuvarulandaina Vivekamanada Chalo. At least the listeners, do they have any sense of discrimination? Viveka. Do they have that Vinuvarno Acharan, what is it? Vivekamanadani Vicharinchina Adi Ledu. Even the listeners don't have that kind of discrimination to understand and to get the real message of Bhagavad Gita. చెప్పేవారు మాత్రము ఈ గీతార్థమును అనుభవ రూపమున ఆనందించుచున్నారని వినువారును ఆచరించుకున్నారు. చెప్పేవారు మాత్రము ఈ గీతార్థమును అనుభవ రూపమున ఆనందించుచున్నారని వినువారును ఆచరించుకున్నారు. What is it? What is that line? The words of God, each one of them for translation to actual life, not for scattering into ears of men to reap fame. That they are today misused for acquiring publicity and praise.
I think where you were in the English, it was those who listen to the expositions of these preachers are also neglecting to question the bona fides. They do not care to examine whether the people who extol the Gita to the sky have tasted the sweetness of its teachings.
Yeah.
Words and deeds are far apart. The teachers exhort others, but those who are exhorted find that the teachers themselves don't follow the lesson.
Okay, that's correct, exactly. So, those who are explaining Gita, they make sure that the one listener also what is it called? Listeners వినువారును ఆచరించుకున్నారు. అనుభవ రూపమున ఆనందించుచున్నారని వినువారును ఆచరించుకున్నారు. That's, I don't know. చెప్పేవారు మాత్రము ఈ గీతార్థమును అనుభవ రూపమున those who are
they don't I think that listeners also, they don't inquire the person who preach.
The bona fide, that is real. Are they really experiencing that or not? They are not able to find out the real they don't question the pracharakas, those who are exponents of Bhagavad Gita. వారు చెప్పే భాషకు లోకము నడుచుకుపోకడలకు విరుగుబడుచున్నారే కానీ గీత యొక్క భావాన్ని చెప్పేవారి ప్రవర్తనకు కోటి కుక్కరే అయినను కోరుకున్నారు. వారు చెప్పే భాషకు, the language which they use, లోకము నడుచుపోకడలకు, what is in the, they exhort others, but those who are exhorted find that teachers do not themselves follow the lesson. That is the exactly. They exhort others. They are pleading others to follow Gita's message, but those who are exhorted find that the teachers do not themselves follow the lessons. Listeners also have found out that teachers do not follow the lesson, not even 1 in a million. Words and deeds are far apart. That those who are
Sairam, Mami, I just want to question something. I'm not questioning Swami's words. Before many of us became Swami devotees, we heard through various forms about Gita and other godly stories through different forms like dramas, dance, and those days books were not that much available, and we followed Kathakal Shivams of different people, and that's how the message was spread. Okay, we were not able to, at that time, we were not able to get materials like from various saints, it was not easy. So I know Swami is saying that that particular people who take money are not practicing. Okay, I understand that part. But how are we as a mass public, without knowing what is right and what is wrong, how are we to know about godly stories and godly teachings?
Yes. unless we have a knowledge about those stories or those scriptural knowledge which they are imparting, unless we know it thoroughly, we cannot say, oh, you're wrong. We cannot say that you're wrong. So those who are exhorted find that the teachers do not themselves follow the lesson. This lesson, this sentence is.
I think you have to first be a true devotee of the Lord and should surrender to Him to lead you in the correct path. He will not bring any kind of disturbance like this into our life, because He's the guardian angel of ourselves. So it depends both ways. We also have to have utmost faith in Lord Krishna and pray to Him to bring us to the right Guru. Then he will do that. If we are going just to listen to stories and have kind of spending time, that is not going to help in the spiritual manner. Thank you, Saira. I went one time to somebody to give in a Kundalini awakening. He was collecting $350, Canadian dollars. Yeah, that is also happened. But God saved us.
Yeah, you had that discrimination not to follow him. Yes, Swami is saying exactly, Gopal, what you are saying is correct. Unless we know what the exponent is, the meaning of any scripture, unless we know it fully well, we can't question him or we can't say that you are wrong. From Swami here saying words and deeds are far apart. They exhort others. They encourage others to listen to them. But those who are exhorted find that the teachers do not themselves follow the lesson. That means the listeners must have been really very knowledgeable. That's why they could do that.
That's what Baba says. Even the Balavika's guru should follow whatever they are teaching the children,
exactly.
And become a role model to the children. That's Baba's one of the expectations.
Yeah. Sai Satish, what about your take on this?
Yes, Auntie. So for Uncle's question, of course, like what Uncle was saying, those days, whether they would do like Punjavritti kind of thing, you could see based on the life the person lived. Like we, of course, have not seen Tyagaraja or Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or maybe Ramana Maharishi, but we know that when they think of the Lord, when they talk about the Lord, the world disappears for them. Because we say yato acho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. So one who is beyond the ken of the mind and words, when we see somebody who lives that, when they come and they are giving their katha kalakshepam, or when they just tell Rama, they will lose their body consciousness in just telling Rama. So when we see that person, the way they walk, the way they talk, the way they expound, and the way they conclude and leave, that itself will tell whether we are in the presence of a Mahatman or we are in the presence of yet another Geeta Pracharak. The whole thing. So when it comes to that, because I think where Swami is coming from is for people who out of their ignorance, if they see somebody who comes in a limousine, probably comes out in a very grand fashion and expounds the thing and walks out without living the thing, that is where masses will misunderstand that is the way to live a life. Because the true purpose should be to go inside, to renounce everything, and to live in that proximity of the divine. So if we are, because we do Atma Pradakshina, we every time we chant Yani Kani Cha Papani Janmantara Kritani Cha, we keep doing the Pradakshina Pade Pade around. So we ourselves are divine, and if we are established in that thing and our sincerity and purity is there, then automatically in whatever has to reach us will reach us, because it is the God who is in the search of a sincere devotee. Because the whole feeling is always the devotee is in search of the God, but the God or Guru is in search of a sincere devotee or a sincere pupil. So when we see such a person, when they will manifest their divinity within with their very presence. So that is where I think when it comes to somebody who is giving a YouTube thing and looking at the kind of likes they get or subscription they have, that is where it leads one away from the true purpose of what it is. So, Uncle, I'm trying to put it more in a way that how do stories reach us? Because if we sincerely pine for it in one way or other, it will reach us because it is meant for us. So it is about our sincerity. Am I, for getting my school, basically graduating out of school or getting my university degree or getting a job, I put in so much effort. Have I put in at least that much effort to get a glimpse of a great soul or God? Because if I put that much effort, then definitely I will get the benefit. So that is the kind of relation that I am putting to, because if I put that effort, God stories or the company of the good or whatever godly things have to happen to us will happen to us. I don't know if I answered your question, Uncle, but just I'm putting it in a perspective that it comes to our sincerity and purity of purpose with which it is pursued, which will help things manifest in our life.
Sairam, we are very fortunate to have Swami with us. Okay, but before many of us came to Swami, for example, I'll give my own experience. I'm saying when I learned about Tulsidas only in when a grade 8 or something in a Hindi book, which my teacher was teaching story about Tulsidas. Until then, I did not know who Tulsidas was. And I learned about Tyagaraja only in hearing the music of Tyagaraja. Okay. Other than that, we were going to temples and we worshipping God, and then the whoever does the worship, we thought it's normal to put money for him, and that's where we've been brought up. Okay, I'm just saying, if I'm not talking about a few people who are very fortunate to know about spirituality. I'm talking about the masses. Like Tulsidas brought the whole Ramayana in a local language so that everybody can know about it. And I'm just saying, I understand what you're saying, that it's a person who hears or person who prays, God automatically gives the grace to those people. The one who preaches, you just take just his words and don't go more than that. That's what I'm trying to interpret. Okay.
Sairam, Auntie.
Sairam.
So what I learned from this, before preach, and you had to practice first, the gurus. But that kind of things is not there anymore. Because look, if we take for an example, if we take artificial intelligence, take Sophia, the artificial intelligence many people talk about, you can feed all the informations. Whatever you ask some questions, it will tell you. But that information is not coming from the heart.
Yeah.
So you cannot make that artificial intelligence through experience in the heart. So many people, many gurus, they have the knowledge, but they don't have that experience. So when they don't have experience, how they can elevate the other devotees? Those days, we had syllabus. We had to study in grade 10 or grade 8. Now we don't have those kind of syllabus, Ramayana, Mahabharata, all other spiritual things all. So because the people forget, people think if we meet one of the Guruji, he can take the person to the other side of the mundane of existence, or Guruji can give me happiness. So they have that misunderstanding. So for an example, if one person passed away, they call the Pandit and they read the Geetha. But the people are not going to understand. You have to read the book beforehand. So then only it is going to helpful for your life. So this what I'm nowadays the Gurujis or even that people not interested because it was not taught in the schools or anywhere, and they are not prepared to go and listen also because of the Kali Yuga. Then they are interested in other worldly things. So this is the reason is leading into the wrong path. Thank you.
I would like to read that second paragraph once again so that, I'm not sure about that last sentence. The words of God are each one for translation into actual life. Swami, what is saying is each one word is good enough for us to practice it in actual life, not for scattering into ears of men to reap fame. These words are not given to those people who want to get some name by expounding the same Gita. But the times have gone so awry that they are today misused for acquiring publicity and praise. So nowadays, people, those who are pracharakas, Gita pracharakas, they are misusing for their knowledge for acquiring publicity and praise. Those who listen to the expositions of these pracharakas are also neglecting to question the bona fides. The reality of the pracharakas, we are not able to, we are not doing it, we are neglecting. We are taking everything, whatever the pracharaka is saying is to be true. They do not care to examine whether the person who extols the Gita to the skies have tasted the sweetness of its teaching. And they do not care means be the people who are, we are not caring to examine whether the persons who are extolling the Gita, who are praising the Gita to the skies, have they really tasted the sweetness of its teachings? That we are not asking. So words and deeds are far apart. That's what in Telugu also Swami says, Lokamu nadachu pokadalaku virugupaduchunnare gaani Geeta yokka bhavanni cheppe vari pravartanaku koti kokkarainanu korakunnaru. So even one among the million is not Geeta ka bhava, that's the bhava of the Gita, and those who are expounding the Gita, cheppe vari pravartanaku, there is no connection between what word and the way walk the talk, what last time we did. So they are not doing it. So that's what it means here. I think the meaning here is that in English, it's really little misguiding. Exhort others, but those who are exhorted find that the teachers do not themselves follow this. How can we justify judge the others teacher, the one who is teaching us? How can we do? Sai Ram?
Sorry, Auntie. So
Yeah.
if you read that line again, Auntie, can you just read that line again in Telugu, Auntie, if you don't mind, please?
Sure. I'll do that. That full. Paramatmani palukulu ప్రతి ఒక్కటికి ఆచరణ రూపమైనవే కానీ కేవలము ప్రచార రూపమైనవి కావు. That's the first. They are all meant for putting it into practice. All the words of Bhagawan. Kali Mahatimo annatlu, because of the Kali age, దానికి విరుద్ధమైన మార్గమును లోకమునకు రుద్దుచున్నారు. They are sending the wrong message. opposite of what it really means. Poni, vinuvaralendayina ee vivekamunnada? At least those listeners, do they have any discrimination, viveka? Ani vicharinchina adi ledu. It's not there. చెప్పేవారు మాత్రము ఈ గీతార్థమును అనుభవ రూపమున ఆనందించుచున్నారని వినువారును ఆచరించుకున్నారు. That's the lesson. That's the sentence which I did not follow exactly. Shall I read it again, Sai, Satish?
Yes, Auntie. Yes, Auntie. Once, just the last line, Auntie.
చెప్పేవారు మాత్రము ఈ గీతార్థమును అనుభవ రూపమున ఆనందించుచున్నారని వినువారును ఆచరించుకున్నారు.
So I'm just going back to the story of what Swami was talking about, the king and the pandit. So in this case, the king was so very clear in his understanding that he helped even the pandit understand, because he just told the pandit very clearly that you have not got the meaning. What you explained is wrong. Go back, think about it, and come. And that is where the role of the listener became very clear, that he was questioning when he saw that the words, the thought, word, and deed alignment was not there. Very clearly, he questioned the pandit, and so the pandit went back. And of course, the whole process followed where he got the clarity. And once he got the clarity, the king came and fell at his feet, saying that today I am blessed. So in the same context, that today when we see people come and expound, are we looking at the alignment of their thought, word, and deed, and having that clarity to ask them when they are expounding? Because if we are aligned with that, then not only the one who is expounding, the one who is exhorted, that's what Swami is saying, they also, there is no questioning back of the one who is being told to do something, to ask them, have you done it? Have you tasted it? So because that is where Anandinchunnaru comes, where have you really experienced it? And if that comes back, at least then in terms of the pracharaks, it gives them that thing, like what happened to the pandit, to go back and really understand the meaning and live that meaning. But today, since nobody, it is like what is told, I offer you a course, and by taking this course, 5-week course, you will get your thing, or you pay $350 for your Kundalini, you will get it. Here, Sakku Aunty asked that question back, or kind of a thing, for whatever reason, it didn't go forward. But when you take it without understanding, can you really get it? Can you get the highest for something as cheap as money? Because what has to be, the sages went and did penance for thousands of years and finally got that sakshatkaram. How can that sakshatkar be given in 5 weeks time or 5 minutes time? In terms of really questioning that kind of a thing, if we come back and ask that, then it puts even the pracharak under a thought process where it will either expose them as a person who is only talking like a parrot, or it will reveal the sincerity where they go back like the pandit and do that manana and then live that thing. So either of the two will happen. But at least the one who are exhorted will ask that question back. And that's where I think Uncle's thing is coming, where he is saying, how will even people know how to ask when somewhere in 8th class or later on they get to know about Tulsidas or Tyagaraja. Fortunately, Uncle, for us, I think because of Swami's avatarana, people sitting in Canada are able to talk about that kind of spirituality. So I'm seeing it from that sense, where people have benefited immensely from an avatar coming, where the progression, where we don't have to wait for so much time to listen about Tulsidas or Tyagaraja. We have got it early in life and we are able to live that. So I'm seeing that as a progression in terms of spirituality that has happened after Bhagawan has come. So I'm just trying to connect it back to how the story Swami has told, and that is what is being expounded subsequently as well.
Because Baba Sairam, because Baba knows us. When he sees we are yearning for spiritual growth, he knew. So he picked all of us into this study circle. This is a wonderful, wonderful gift of Swami. I thank all of you.
actually, so Swami, what he says is, the listeners also be equally knowledgeable to know, just like the king. The king knew what he was, what the Pandit was trying to say. He knew the real meaning of that sentence, Ananya Chintayantama. But here also, when people come and then Harikatha Kalakshepam, or some people, some saints come and tell us about things, we should be equally knowledgeable to know the real meaning. We need not be rude to them, but as the king said, just like in a, we have to know. We have to know what they are trying to tell us. That's the meaning of that.
Auntie, just adding to that, Auntie, if we just take Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Swami Vivekananda, there Vivekananda asks Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, have you seen God?
Yeah.
And then he says, yes, I have seen God just like the way I see you. So there you can see how the disciple questioned the Guru, and because the disciple was also a sincere disciple. He was not like, I'm looking for here, there, have you, because he wanted that experience. So am I as a disciple, is my goal also to get something in 5 weeks kind of a thing, or is my goal to get the ultimate? If my sincerity and purity is there, I will ask the right question, and I will ask it to the right Guru who is in front of me, and that Guru will guide me if my sincerity is there. And that's what happened to Vivekananda, where Ramakrishna Paramahamsa then gives him that experience that I have seen it and so can you. So that is where it comes in the process of how much are we able to ask with that conviction, that person who comes and he's doing whatever he's propagating, have you experienced it? Can you show it to me? And if that person is then able to explain it or give a glimpse of that experience that he has had, then it is very clear. If not, we know it is just a parroting that has happened.
Swami Vivekananda was equally, I think he was a great seeker, and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa understood him and then said, yes, I have seen Kali and I can show you also. Go inside the temple and see the Kali. And every time Vivekananda goes and he cannot ask anything, he comes back again. So he also had that experience of seeing Kali, just like Ramakrishna, how he had seen him. So we have to be aware of what the Pandit is saying, what the Pracharakas are saying. We have to know clear meaning of it. Then only we can question them. Question means not questioning them, clearing our doubts.
Sairam, Satish, Sairam Mami, thank you very much. As I understand what Satish was saying, that Swami, God in some way makes you come closer to him.
Yeah.
If even then, that is our grace starts from some media, whatever it is, whether I studied Tulsidas in the 8th standard or heard some Katha called Shepam somewhere else or went to the temple or anything. As I understand, it's God's grace that you come closer to him.
We are very fortunate to have come to Swami only because of his teachings. We have learned so much. I mean, those things which were not, we did not even think about those Upanishads or Bhagavad Gita when we were young. Swami has taken all of us into his fold, and then he has taught us, he has really trained us, and he has really been very, very grace. He has showered his grace on us. Thank you, Sairam.
Yes, Auntie. In that context, just adding, really what the sages took thousands and thousands of years to get as the highest truth, Swami has just dropped it in our lap. Like through these Vahinis, the highest of truth, the highest of wisdom is just given. It is now for us to do the Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam, because literally Swami has come and, like he mentioned, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, that holds the Nabhi of the thing. So it is more about just, can I do that ceaseless contemplation? Because I think in worldly parlance, you have to master the subject, means you need to know everything about the subject. But in spiritual parlance, can I just chant the name Sai Ram incessantly? Can I just chant it continuously? If I do that thing, that itself will give me the highest wisdom. So in spirituality, it is about how intense I am in my seeking and how intensely I hold on to that name or form, which will give the ultimate. So Swami has literally given us the essence of what it is. So if we can just hold on to it, nothing like that.
Sai Ram, I agree with you, Sai Sadish. He has given us with so much easy way, he has dropped it us on our lap. It is left to us to practice, take it in and make use of that for our benefit, our soul liberation. We should make it use of that. That is the only way we can thank Swami. That's the only way we can show him the gratitude. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Auntie, I'd like to add some more points here. Even we are studying Bhagavad Gita, at least we understood what is the Niskarma Karma, then you can get the liberation. So there are 700 slokas. You don't need to know everything. At least take one and practice, you get the liberation. Thank you.
Auntie, you're muted.
In following paragraphs, Swami is saying the same thing. Instead of just by rota, by memorizing all the slokas of Gita and then just repeating it, it doesn't have any meaning on life. I take one sloka at least, retain it in memory, and then try to practice in your life. That's more important. That's next paragraph. Says thing. I think it is 4:30 now.
Sairam, Auntie, I just wanted to add one more thing on this. You know, when we say about the pracharakas, we have to see whether we have to question about the bona fides. But that is that something we have to do when you pray Swami, when you genuinely yearn for the Lord? The Lord will take you to the right side of it, right? Then I am the pracharakas and questioning about them and all. I think it's like we are trying to do something that is unnecessary in spirituality and something. But Swami is saying for a reason that I can understand. But I'm still didn't convinced that why we had to question when we pray Lord with full faith and devotion. And I think if you yearn for it, you won't come across those fake people in your life. That's how I'm looking at it.
No,
Yeah.
Yes. You missed it. We have met people like that, and we brought it out. Even Sai Sadi said it, yeah, and others said it.
So, Auntie, because here Swami is saying even the people who are listening supposed to have knowledge to ask questions. What is the meaning of that one from the whoever teaching that one? We are not questioning about the people who are teaching. At least you supposed to have some knowledge, ask questions and favorable questions. What is the meaning of that? Here, we all asking questions. Whatever we are on the just on the paragraph, we are asking questions. Same way, we are expecting the followers to ask questions too. That is not happening.
One thing, just clarifying here to Sister Aruna. The thing there is not about going and asking questions for the sake of asking questions, sister. It's more like when we go there, if we have sufficient clarity at our end, we will know that even as the pracharaka is speaking, what is right, what is wrong for our own understanding. So we will know whether we have to continue on that path or find a different path that is more suitable for us. So it is about the inner questioning and not the outer questioning that it can reflect. So it is not just about asking that outer question to you. You are telling this, it is wrong kind of a thing. But the inner question of that manana that happens, is this right? Because this is what it is. This is what is being told. Is this the inner questioning will in turn guide us to the right path? So that kind of an introspection is what is the literal meaning that we can also.
Yes, that is makes sense now. Yes. When in the spiritual path, you have to question yourself. You are in the right path. That kind of questions. Yes, it makes sense now. Thank you.
And
Thank you for the clarity. Yes, thanks.
Shirdi Baba's story, you remember how Swami Bhagawan says, Pariprashnena Sevaya, go to the teacher with humility and clarify your doubts by serving them and by being very humble. That is the most important thing, what Baba says. So here also the same thing, but we cannot go and judge the person who is say. But we hundreds of pracharakas are there. Hundreds of people in YouTube find Geetha exposition. But because Swami has taught us what is the real spiritual truth, we can, with that background, we can judge. We can
that we can,
we can
so that is inner question. That part is now clear. Yeah.
Swami,
For us to question ourselves, are we in the right path? Are the pracharakas are saying the right thing? So if not, we have to move on, not to like a question in front of them. Or
correct.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, it is 4:30 now. 4:32. Let's. Om Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Hari Om. Sai Ram.
Ram.
Sai Ram, thank you.
Thank you.